Definition 10, compensation, in Volume 6 of the Collected Works of Carl Jung. This tension inhibits the activity of consciousness to a certain extent, and though at first the inhibition can be broken down by increased conscious effort, in the end the tension becomes so acute that the repressed unconscious contents break through in the form of dreams and spontaneous images. The more one-sided the conscious attitude, the more antagonistic are the contents arriving from the unconscious, so that we may speak of a real opposition between the two. Pause. In this case, the compensation appears in the form of a counter-function, but this case is extreme, a counter-function. That's deep theory for you. As a rule, the unconscious compensation does not run counter to consciousness, but is rather a balancing or supplementing of a conscious orientation. In dreams, for instance, the unconscious supplies all those contents that are constellated by the conscious situation but are inhibited by conscious selection, although a knowledge of them would be indispensable for complete adaptation. Normally, compensation is an unconscious process, e.g., an unconscious regulation of conscious activity. In neurosis, the unconscious appears as in such stark contrast to the conscious state that compensation is disturbed. The aim of analytical therapy, therefore, is a realization of unconscious contents in order that compensation may be reestablished. This is what we're talking about in terms of his definition, but we're talking about it in terms of psychological types: adaptation and compensation. We only get these functions because certain functions proved to adapt and compensate, right? Adaptation, compensation, adaptation, compensation, adaptation, compensation. When the first function use, in this case animal functions, has proven to be so arduous that well, let's go back to the definition if we can't speak it out. Increases the capacity for adaptation, corresponds etiologically, auxiliary device, setting up of a guiding fiction to balance inferiority, guiding fiction, compensatory function in the sphere of psychological processes, functional adjustment in general. We may speak of a real opposition between the two.